хорошем боксинге. Я думаю, она понимает, что идти вперед лишний раз не стоит.
Так быстро. И остановка.
Alexandra Savicheva is a world champion in Kudo and kickboxing. Now storming into MMA. Her fights against men. Her brutal kicks and the scars she carries all tell the same story. Sacrifice over luxury, purpose over fame. She looked like a model, but she trained like a machine. Underneath the quiet beauty was a fighter built for war. But how did this calm, relentless warrior begin her journey toward greatness? Let's rewind to where it all started. May 29th, 1998, Yaroslavl, Russia. In a modest home surrounded by simplicity and strength, Alexandra Savicheva was born. The only daughter in her family, she was raised under her father's philosophy. Discipline builds destiny. He didn't want her to chase comfort. He wanted her to build character. At just 7, Alexandra stood at a crossroads. Her father offered her 3 choices: Kudo, swimming, or dancing. She tried all 3, but one ignited something inside her. The sound of gloves clashing, the rhythm of combat, the controlled chaos of Kudo. That's where it began. Her first lessons weren't about fighting, they were about endurance. While other kids learned balance on playgrounds, Alexandra learned it while trading punches with boys twice her size. Until the age of 12, she sparred exclusively with them. Every session was a test of will, not gender. Her coaches treated her no differently. If she wanted respect, she had to earn it, and she did. Over time, Alexandra began to realize that toughness wasn't about brute strength, it was about persistence, showing up when no one expected you to. At school, she was quiet, top of her class, never chasing attention. By 14, she'd already learned the truth that many fighters discover too late. Physical power fades, but mental control lasts forever. Each bruise was a lesson, each victory a reminder that self-mastery mattered more than the scoreboard. She didn't see herself as a prodigy, just a student of discipline, and that mindset would become her greatest weapon. She didn't yet know it, but all those hours inside the tiny gym were building the foundation for something much bigger, something that would soon push her beyond her country's borders. To understand Alexandra's rise, you have to understand Kudo, the martial art that shaped her entire being. Born from the blend of karate, judo, and kickboxing, Kudo isn't about looking graceful, it's about survival. Fighters wear helmets with transparent visors and engage in full-contact combat. Punches, kicks, throws, ground fighting. It's raw, demanding, and brutally honest. From the start, Alexandra stood out. Her coaches trained her like everyone else. You want to fight, they'd say? Then fight. Every session was war against limitation. Every bruise was a signature of progress. At 16, she achieved what few could imagine. She became a Kudo world champion. The girl who once trained in silence was now standing on the podium, representing her nation. For most, that moment would have been the finish line, but for Alexandra, it was just round 1. She transitioned into kickboxing next, hungry to evolve, to test her precision in a more striking, heavy arena. She crushed every opponent who underestimated her. TV networks began to call her the face of a new generation of female fighters. Technical, composed, and fearless. But Alexandra wasn't chasing celebrity. She believed in craft over clout. Every prize she earned went back into training. Better nutrition, tougher camps, stronger sparring partners. She proved that she had the face of a model, but the heart of a warrior. Her influences tell you everything about her mindset. She admired Khabib Nurmagomedov for his humility and mental strength, and John Jones for his adaptability and tactical genius.
Straight left. Yeah, and a couple big hard shots. And he tags the bars and look at it.
She wanted to blend both, the stoic monk and the creative destroyer. As she matured, she began to advocate for women in combat sports, especially regarding health and weight cutting. "Women aren't weaker," she said once. "We're just built differently. We train differently. That's our advantage." By 18, she wasn't just fighting opponents. She was redefining what it meant to be a woman in combat. But even after mastering Kudo and conquering kickboxing, Alexandra felt something missing, a new mountain to climb. By the time Alexandra Savicheva entered mixed martial arts, she was already a proven champion in 2 worlds, Kudo and kickboxing. But MMA was something else entirely. It wasn't just about striking or grappling. It was about surviving in a world where everything was allowed and hesitation was punished. For Alexandra, that was the perfect challenge. Her debut fight came with quiet anticipation. Across the cage stood Zarema Alaweva, confident and unafraid, but within 35 seconds, Alexandra turned calm precision into chaos. She opened with a clean 1-2 combination, switched stance mid-strike, and landed sharp counters before her opponent even found rhythm. Then a brutal flurry, and it was over. The referee stepped in, and the audience erupted.
И остановка. Вот так вот.
Her first professional MMA fight had ended before it even began. Commentators called it methodical violence. Alexandra later said that her debut wasn't about proving power, it was about testing control. Every second inside that cage had been planned, rehearsed, and executed with purpose. Her second fight, against Alexandra Savicheva, was the opposite. Long, grinding, and full of lessons. Savicheva was a grappler with heart and endurance, someone who refused to break. From the first round, the fight turned into a battle for control. Against the cage, Alexandra worked with patience, using trips and sweeps to dictate position. When she finally got the takedown, she dominated from the top, landing short, clean strikes. Not wild power, but surgical precision. Even when the referee stood them up, she returned to the clinch, pressing Savicheva into the fence, maintaining control until the final bell. 2 rounds of complete dominance, not a flashy finish, but a technical masterclass. The judges didn't need to think twice. Alexandra won by unanimous decision. Among them were scouts from One Championship, the world's second biggest MMA promotion. What began as quiet victories inside local arenas was now catching global attention, and Alexandra's next step would turn her discipline into destiny. When Alexandra Savicheva stepped into the One Championship arena, it wasn't just another fight, it was her arrival on the world stage. Across from her stood Ziba Bano, India's undefeated star, nicknamed the Fighting Queen. Bano was confident, powerful, and known for her heavy hands. She had more than 50 kickboxing bouts behind her and carried the swagger of a champion used to finishing fights early. From the start, both women wasted no time. Alexandra moved lightly on her feet, using her southpaw stance to control distance. Bano pressed forward, swinging wide hooks meant to test Savicheva's composure.
Big left hook by Bano to start.
The first minute looked like a chess match disguised as chaos. Each feint, each jab, a calculated move.
Bano's got to be scared, careful falling for these feints.
Alexandra landed first, a precise jab followed by a spinning back fist that caught the crowd's breath.
Mark on the head of Bano.
Bano answered with a quick counter, but the Russian slipped away, punishing her with a high kick that echoed through the arena.
Range management of Savicheva. There's again with the head kick.
Midway through the round, Bano tried to clinch, hoping to use her size advantage to slow the pace.
Good choice. Enter inside that clinch.
But Alexandra had studied her well. She broke free with sharp elbows and transitioned into a slick takedown, driving Bano onto the canvas. What followed was pure control. Side mount, then full mount. Bano, known for her striking, struggled to adapt as Alexandra began dropping measured elbows.
Break that grip, and she's in full mount. Dropping bombs.
Never reckless, always deliberate. The crowd rose as Alexandra unleashed her final barrage.
Very well controlled on top and just letting it go from Mount. Kudo needs to shake her off.
Hammer fists, elbows, and pressure so suffocating, the referee had no choice but to step in. 3 minutes, 39 seconds. Technical knockout.
Ditcheva landed a big shot to the back of the head there. It looks like the elbow.
The undefeated Indian star had fallen, and a new name had begun to echo through MMA circles, Alexandra Savicheva. But while the world celebrated her precision and composure, Alexandra went right back to training. As her name grew, so did the spotlight, and with it came both opportunity and risk. The next opponent waiting for her inside the cage wouldn't just test her strength, but her spirit. Every fighter, no matter how dominant, eventually meets the moment that defines them. The night everything goes wrong. For Alexandra Savicheva, that moment came against Anelia Toktoganova, a sharp and confident grappler from Kyrgyzstan. Toktoganova wasn't intimidated by Alexandra's record or reputation. She had her own plan: drag the striker into deep water and test her on the ground. From the start, you can see the difference in approach was clear. Alexandra moved in her usual rhythm. Toktoganova stayed patient, circling, low kicks thudding against Alexandra's leg. The Russian responded with a crisp left straight.
You can see Savicheva is kind of creating like a force field around her. She's got to be wary of that left hand, though, because Toktoganova.
But her opponent absorbed it and returned fire with a quick 1-2. The tension was electric, a test of patience and precision. Then came the turning point. Alexandra threw a high kick, her signature move, fast and powerful. But Toktoganova saw it. She caught the leg midair, drove forward, and took Alexandra down with perfect timing.
That head kick knockout that she's looking for, and she just threw it right there for Toktoganova.
The crowd gasped as the striker suddenly found herself on her back, fighting for space. Toktoganova advanced to mount like a predator moving in slow motion. Alexandra tried to explode out, to create distance, but her opponent's control was suffocating. Then in a split second, Toktoganova slid to her back and locked her arms under Alexandra's chin.
Savicheva needs to fight those hands, Gianni. It's more of a face.
It wasn't a clean choke, more a painful crank across the jaw, but it was enough. Alexandra fought it, clawing, twisting, refusing to tap. Yet the pressure was brutal. Seconds later, she had no choice.
Very uncomfortable.
The referee raised Toktoganova's hand, her first professional loss. Later, she would call it the fight that changed everything. There was no shame in defeat, only lessons. She returned to training the very next week. Wrestling became her obsession. Her new sparring partners were heavier, faster, stronger, mostly men. She wanted to erase every weakness that Knight had exposed. That loss didn't end her story, it rewrote it. The girl who once fought boys in small gyms was about to face them again, this time as equals. And what came next would reveal the fighter behind the steel. Outside the cage, Alexandra Savicheva was almost unrecognizable from the warrior fans saw on Fight Night. She carried herself with quiet composure. To her, violence was only a tool, not a lifestyle. She saved it for the gym, leaving everything else at the door. Those who met her off camera often said the same thing. She wasn't intimidating, she was centered. Yet behind that calm exterior was a daily storm of discipline. Her training partners weren't women her size. They were men, often 20 pounds heavier, stronger, and faster. Sparring against them wasn't about ego. It was about survival. During one of those sessions, she faced Ruslan, a 155-pound master of hand-to-hand combat. He promised to go at half power, but even half felt like a hurricane. Every time Ruslan closed the distance, Alexandra had to be sharper, faster, smarter. He'd drag her into the clinch, force her to fight for every inch of space. She countered with precise footwork and timing, quick jabs, fast pivots, and perfectly measured distance. It wasn't about overpowering him, it was about controlling the storm. After rounds of pressure and exhaustion, she realized what this kind of training truly gave her. Not just strength, but awareness. Sparring with men teaches you not to make mistakes, she once said, because if you do, it hurts more. Outside of combat, she lived a life that reflected the same principles. When asked about relationships, she laughed softly, saying most men were too intimidated to approach her. They see a fighter, she said, not the person behind it. But in truth, she valued gentleness as much as grit. In her words, aggression belonged to the ring, not the heart. Her coach, Vladimir Turchenko, often reminded her that technique beats power, and Alexandra took that to heart. Together, they worked on precision, every movement refined until it was instinct. And soon, all that patience, restraint, and refinement would be tested once again. The cage was calling her back, not as a fighter seeking redemption, but as a master ready to prove evolution. After months of silence, sweat, and relentless training, Alexandra Savicheva was ready to return. Her loss had turned into fuel, and the cage no longer felt like pressure. It felt like home. The first step of her comeback came against Begim Akbalayeva, a seasoned fighter from Kyrgyzstan with experience and grit. Both women entered the octagon with something to prove. Alexandra immediately took command of the center. Akbalayeva tried to close the distance with grappling, shooting for takedowns. But Alexandra's defense showed how much she had evolved. Each sprawl, each pivot, each escape looked effortless. When the fight hit the ground, Savicheva neutralized her opponent's offense and calmly worked her way back to her feet. The second round unfolded like a tactical lesson. Alexandra's low kicks found their target, chopping away at Akbalayeva's balance. Her combinations, jab, cross, body shot, landed with surgical accuracy. Akbalayeva, though determined, began to slow under the constant pressure. Every exchange showcased Savicheva's new balance between striking and grappling. By the third round, control had become dominance. Alexandra kept the fight standing, using her reach and timing to dictate pace. Akbalayeva fought with heart, refusing to back down, but Savicheva never gave her an opening. The judges' unanimous decision only confirmed what the audience already saw. Alexandra was back, sharper than ever. This victory wasn't about revenge. It was about evolution. She had faced her weakness, rebuilt it, and returned stronger. Her performance caught attention again. The same whispers spreading through gyms and forums. Savicheva's back. But for Alexandra, one win was never enough. The cage demanded more, and so did she. When Alexandra Savicheva stepped in against Anastasia Ditcheva, the stakes were more than a title. It was redemption. Her last loss had come from a submission, and this was her chance to rewrite that chapter. Ditcheva wasn't just another opponent. She was the reigning flyweight champion, known for her toughness. A fighter who didn't panic under pressure, the kind Alexandra once feared. The first round began like a test of nerve. Ditcheva opened with sharp leg kicks, trying to disrupt Alexandra's rhythm. Savicheva stayed patient, circling, using her jab to control distance. When Ditcheva rushed in for a takedown, Alexandra sprawled. On the feet, she began to build momentum, mixing punches with body kicks that snapped with clean precision. By the second round, Alexandra's composure had turned into control. She feinted high, then shot low, catching Ditcheva off guard with a slick double-leg takedown. A move she drilled hundreds of times since her last defeat. From there, she transitioned smoothly to side control, then mount. The crowd could feel the shift. This wasn't the striker they once knew. This was a complete fighter. Ditcheva tried to escape, but Alexandra's pressure was relentless. Every scramble ended with Savicheva in command. Then came the moment that silenced the arena. Alexandra slid her arm under Ditcheva's chin, locked the grip, and began to squeeze. The same submission that once defeated her was now her weapon. Within seconds, the tap came. Alexandra Savicheva had submitted the champion, but her story didn't end with a belt or a submission. Her evolution had only begun. After her emotional redemption, Alexandra Savicheva carried a new kind of confidence. Her next test came against Sofia Bagishvili, a Georgian striker known for her durability and aggressive forward style. Bagishvili wasn't a submission specialist or a cautious counterfighter. She was a brawler who thrived in chaos. For Alexandra, it was a perfect chance to showcase how far she'd come. The opening round was pure intensity. Bagishvili came charging forward, throwing looping punches, trying to close the distance. Alexandra stayed calm, moving just out of reach, her jab working like a metronome. Each connection drew a reaction, each counter chipped away at Sofia's rhythm.
Ох, неплохо. Здесь комбинация была.
Midway through the second round, the tempo shifted. Bagishvili managed to corner Alexandra briefly,
Багишвили. О, что произошло здесь?
landing a stiff body shot and a short uppercut that made the crowd gasp. But Alexandra didn't retreat. She reset, pivoted off the cage, and returned fire with a flawless 1-2 combination that sent her opponent stumbling backward. The third round was all about command. Alexandra varied her attacks, mixing body kicks with jabs, cutting the cage, dictating pace. Bagishvili, though bleeding and winded, refused to quit, forcing Alexandra to stay sharp until the very last second. When the final bell rang, both women raised their hands, but there was no doubt who had ruled the fight. The judges' unanimous decision confirmed it. Another dominant performance, another lesson in control.
Alexandra!
Fans praised the fight for its balance. Bagishvili's heart versus Savicheva's precision. And for Alexandra, it was the kind of win that didn't just count on paper, it defined her identity. She had proven she could adapt to any style, survive any storm, and win without losing her composure. But with every victory, Alexandra's reputation was spreading far beyond Russia. The world's top promotions were watching. Among them was one of the sport's most respected proving grounds, Legacy Fighting Alliance, LFA, in Brazil, a platform known for producing future UFC champions. It was an invitation few fighters could ignore, and Alexandra didn't. LFA had shaped the likes of Alex Pereira and Mauricio Shogun Rua, fighters who climbed from those same cages to world titles. Stepping into that lineage meant walking into history. Training intensified. Her focus wasn't on highlight reels or crowd reactions. It was on being ready for any opponent, any style. She often said the fight doesn't start with the bell, it starts with the discipline you build long before you step inside. Outside the gym, her name carried quiet respect. Fans admired her humility. She'd built her career not through talk, but through execution. Even her rivals acknowledged her discipline. Yet for all her composure, one dream remained unshaken: the UFC. Not just to fight there, but to climb to the very top. Her ultimate goal? A championship showdown against her idol, Valentina Shevchenko. The woman whose precision and poise once inspired Alexandra to start this journey. The story had come full circle. A quiet girl from Yaroslavl, who once trained among boys, now standing on the brink of global recognition. And that's the story of relentless focus and true discipline. If Alexandra's story hit you like it hit her opponents, smash that like button. Subscribe for more real stories of warriors who never back down.